Hey guys, Xaryu here, and today is 8.1. As the time this video goes live, it'll be yesterday was 8.1, but I'm going to go over some of the patch notes with you guys. Now, the 8.1 patch notes, guys, are very long, and it almost feels like a new expansion. It's like so many changes with Azurite here, buffs, nerfs, changes, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to be going over Mage, Rogue, and Priest in this video. I'm not going to be going over every single spec because this video would be like over an hour long if we did that. But here's the patch notes. I'll have them linked down below if you guys actually want to take a look for yourself for the specific class that you play. But I think a lot of people on this channel are wondering, how are Mages looking, how are Priests looking, or how are Rogues looking? So we're going to jump into that here in this specific video. And we'll take a look at some general PvP changes as well, since this is a PvP channel. But here's the patch notes. I'll have them linked down below if you guys want to look at any specific thing that I don't cover in this video. Now, right away, scrolling straight to the Mage changes, all right? Straight to the Mage changes, and these are not just PvP changes, but just changes, just like PvE and PvP, right? And then later we'll get into the PvP changes as well. So Mage, starting it off. Cold Snap can now be used once again while in Ice Block. I actually love this change. I thought it was weird that you know, somewhere last expansion you made it so you couldn't Cold Snap an Ice Block, and it was almost like you would always want to Cold Snap right when you got out anyway. It was off global, but you just couldn't use it in Ice Block. It was just weird. But anyway, now you can again. Not a big buff, not a big nerf, just an interesting little change that I like. Not a huge deal, but thumbs up there. And that's it for the general change. So Azurite traits, Brainstorm now makes Evocation grant 2 arcane charges immediately. Okay, so that's interesting. Brainstorm gives you intellect when you're evocationing. I don't know if that's 2 arcane charges additionally is what I'm guessing. So that'll help us maybe burst a little bit more as arcane, but I still feel like this talent would not be the greatest in a PvP situation. Equipoise, I don't know how to say that, replaces Anomalous Impact. When you're above 70% mana, Arcane Blast deals 150 additional damage. When you're below 70% mana, Arcane Blast cost reduced by 190. So this is a new Azurite trait that we see here. Do I think this is going to be good? It's hard to say for sure on any specific talent, but probably not. This looks like more like a PvE talent. The mana cost reduction, being able to just spam Arcane Blast, like this seems like it would be amazing in PvE, in fact, to be able to spam more Arcane Blast for more damage, but in Arena, you're not really casting Arcane Blast too much anyway, and then you wouldn't even want to, right? Because if you get kicked, then you can't blink, then you can't counterspell, then you can't polymorph, then you can die. So you actually don't want to cast Arcane Blast in Arena very much. So probably not the greatest talent, but you never know. Maybe if you stack it in a certain way with enough traits, and all of a sudden you can build up a crazy one-shot, blah, blah, blah. But probably not the greatest. Now, Flash Freeze, guys, I haven't read through a lot of the talents, but this specific change I actually have read, and I'm really excited for this one. This might be the thing I'm most excited about this entire video. In fact, Flash Freeze, replacing Winter's Reach, makes it so each of your icicles deals 897 additional damage, which is a lot, by the way. It's almost 1,000 additional damage, depending on the item level of that Flash Freeze. When an icicle deals damage, you have a 3% chance to gain the Fingers of Frost effect. You know what this means, guys? This means if we're getting, you know, maybe 3 Flash Freeze traits, each icicle is doing 3,000 additional damage, and you have 5 icicles over your head, right? That's 15k additional damage just from the trait. And then you're gonna, you know, the icicles deal damage themselves as well, which means, guys, if we start stacking up icicles and then you release them all, that's a lot of instant cast burst, and that's one of the major things Frost needed to become a good spec, was that instant cast burst. Boom, Flash Freeze might be the answer that we need to make Frost viable, or like really strong again. And I shouldn't say viable, because Frost even right now is good before 8.1 came out, but it was really just a slowing spec. This might make it into a bursting spec once again, so I'm really excited to try this talent out. Plus the additional secondary effect of gaining more Fingers of Frost, 3% chance to gain. I'm not sure if this effect stacks if you have multiple Flash Freezes, 3%, 6%, 9%, or if it doesn't stack, but either way, getting more Fingers of Frost in addition to the icicle damage, just icing on the top, this talent looks amazing for PvP, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to try it out. I feel like it's really hard to predict changes, guys, because a lot of the times the things that you think are going to be good aren't that good, and things that you think are going to be terrible end up being actually really good, because the way the metagame shapes out. Metagame has not shaped out yet, though, thus trying to predict the future is really difficult. However, I'm going to whim here and say it's going to be a pretty good talent, and I'm really excited for it. Anyway, moving on. New, Quick Thinking. Your instant cast damaging spells heal you for 784. This is probably in the defensive row. instead of maybe something like Azurite Fort or something like that. I'm guessing, and it seems pretty good, especially in like Rogue Mage 2s. You can just spam out Ice Lance if you're Frost, or just Fire Blast if you're Fire, and just get a bunch of healing, get a little bit of consistent healing, which I love. I love Mages having a little bit of healing. Let me rephrase that. I think Mages should have a little bit of healing if all the other DPS classes have a little bit of healing. If all the other DPS classes, non-hybrids, don't have healing, I don't think Mages should have healing either. So it should just be like, Mages should have healing if other DPS classes do. Mages shouldn't have healing if other DPS classes don't. But right now, pretty much every class in the game that's a DPS has some type of heal except Mages. So boom, we got something. That's cool. I like it. I'll take it. Thank you, Blizzard. Wildfire replaces Preheat. Pyroblast deals 937 additional damage. And when you activate Combustion, you gain 768 crit and up to 4 nearby allies gain crit. Wow, so this is like a pretty crazy talent here. It's doing a lot of things. Your Pyros are doing more, and your Combust are doing more, and you're getting crit for your entire team. That's pretty damn cool. I'm excited for Wildfire to maybe replace Blaster Master, and then you guys are probably like, wait, what's wrong with Blaster Master? They're not in the patch notes, but I do believe it's getting nerfed, and that's something I actually wanted to bring up in this video, is that there are, I think, more changes that are on the PTR that are not in these patch notes that I do believe are still going through, but we'll have to wait and see. Servers are actually not quite up yet when I'm recording this video. 8.1 is still in that downtime patch, but when servers go live, we'll have to actually see if there's additional changes to these patch notes that were on the PTR, like that Blaster Master nerf, and I'm not exactly sure as the time I'm recording this video, but we will know in the next day or two. Actually, within the next few hours, I'm going to know, so definitely follow me on Twitter for those updates on the Mage, changes. Anyway, Frost, all damage increased by 3%. I mean, we needed a Frost damage increase for sure. 3%, is it going to do much? Probably not. Blizzard now applies a 50. Okay, so these are the nerfs. These are the nerfs. Get ready. Deep breaths. Get ready. It's going to be okay. Blizzard now applies a 50% snare for 1.5 seconds, was 50% snare for 15 seconds, and range increase of 40 yards was 35. Okay, so before you guys freak out, I actually like this change. I don't think Blizzard should make it so the whole map can't move, and I don't think Frost Mages should be a spec that only their only strength is slowing people. I am all for nerfing the snares of Frost Mage if that means giving us more burst, giving us more damage, giving us more utility, giving us more control. I'm okay with nerfing the snares because I don't want the spec to just be 100% snare based as it currently is right now before 8.1 came out. Mages are not a great spec right now, but since they can slow so well, it makes them viable anyway. I'd rather nerf the slows and then buff other aspects and make it more of a well-rounded class, and it looks like that's what they're doing. They're adding things like Flash Freeze, they're adding things like damage, they're nerfing the Blizzard Slow, they're nerfing Comet Storm damage, which is a little suspect. Like, I don't know why, like, I think Comet Storm is probably fine because it already got that damage nerf. It's going another damage nerf, so we might have to see if another talent works better. Just have to play around with it. The Frostbolt snare nerf, guys, it's 8 seconds instead of 15, which I'm also okay with. I'm totally okay with that. Frozen Orb is a 3 seconds instead of 15, and I'm okay with that as well. All of these snare nerfs I'm fine with. I actually don't mind. I don't think Frost Mages should make it so other people can't play their characters or can't move. I'm okay with the snare nerfs. I just would like some damage buffs to compensate. So we'll see if more damage buffs end up coming in. Because right now, I don't know if Flash Freeze is going to be enough to compensate for all of these nerfs, but we'll have to see. And the damage increase 3%. I don't know if that's quite enough either. Regalia of the Arcane Tempest. 2-set bonus reduced to 4% crit. I don't PvE. I don't know what that is. Let's keep on scrolling. So that was Mage, guys. Let's take a look at Priest and Rogue here as well. So scrolling down to the Priest changes. A lot of Priest changes. I'm excited. I'm going to try to go as fast as possible. Try to get through these. There's like just a lot of different changes. So Focus Will Stack goes to 1 instead of 2. Guys, this is what reduced the damage that Priest took. It's going to make Priest a lot squishier. It's going to make it so you can get swapped to a lot more. So we'll have to see how this really plays out for things like Discipline. Things like, I think Holy has Focus Will as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, okay, maybe Priest swaps are more viable now. Or maybe as a Priest, you're going to have to play something like a Battle Master every game so you don't just die in swaps 100-0. So we'll have to see how that actually plays out. Halo damage and healing reduced. We didn't really use Halo too much in Arena, so that's okay. Power Word Shield applies Weakened Soul, preventing the caster from recasting it on the same target for 7.5 seconds. So previously, Weakened Soul was not in the game. You could just Power Word Shield after Power Word Shield after Power Word Shield. It didn't heal too much, but you could do it as like a last-ditch effort to throw out a shield if you couldn't cast, if maybe you got kicked on Shadow Mend, Penances on cooldown, you could just spam out a couple shields to keep up that HPS. You cannot do that anymore because of that weaken soul debuff, and I think I like this, but I would like to see buffs in return. So once again, it's more of like a give and take type of thing. I don't mind them taking or putting weaken soul back in, which is effectively a take, right? It's a nerf, but hopefully they're compensated in other areas. All right, so some of the Azurite traits for Priest, which is Holy, Shadow, and Disc, not just one, but all of the specs. Death Denied, Leap of Faith absorbs 10k damage for 10 seconds while the shield holds. Leap of Faith cools down 200% faster. This is a crazy mechanic. We haven't really seen much like this, but like if a bubble holds, that shield holds, your Leap of Faith is going to tick quicker, right? It's going to come up off cooldown quicker. So that means you can Leap of Faith again. So if you keep that shield up for like a really long time, you'll just get 2 Leap of Faiths really fast. That's good. I don't know if it's good enough to justify having a trait for it. Maybe it is. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you'll stack 3 of them and it'll be all of a sudden, I don't know how it's going to stack. Maybe you'll stack 3 of them and Leap of Faith will be your biggest defensive cooldown and you'll just go for a bunch of Leap of Faith. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it has quite enough value, but we'll have to wait and see. Depth of Shadow's healing bonus increased by 100% and now increases Atonement duration when applied by Shadowman by 2 seconds. Okay, okay. Promise of Deliverance replaces Sacred Flame for 10 seconds after you cast Serenity. Heal, flash heal for an additional 472, and reduce the cooldown of Serenity. That seems really good for Holy. Really, really good for Holy. By the way, Holy is in a spot where it could randomly see some double caster Holy comps coming out again, which I'm really excited to try for myself, like Arcane Ellie, Holy Priest with Envioso and Oz. Bunch of really cool stuff I'm excited to try with Holy Priest, but that'll be a whole nother video. Searing Dialogue now causes Mindseer to snare targets hit by Mindseer by 30% for 1 second. Okay, I don't know if that's like super good. Sudden Revelation, Power Word Radiance, a 50% chance to cause your next Holy Nova to deal more damage. Not great. Dot Harvester redesigned, VT damage is increased. Each time VT deals damage, you have a chance to increase damage to your next Mindseer. PvE change, maybe Mythic Plus change, not good for Arena. Whispers of the Damned redesigned, Mind Blast now deals additional damage, generates Insanity on critical strikes. Could be okay, probably not though. I just feel like the damage on things like Vampiric Touch or Shadow Pain would just be so much better than Mind Blast, but you never know. It could be okay in big burst comms, maybe like Shadow Priest Hunter, Shadow Priest Rogue, something like that. So we'll have to wait and see for that. Discipline changes, Holy changes, Shadow changes. So Disc changes, guys. Damage of Smite reduced, Powered Shadow Pain reduced, damage of Shadow Fiend, Mindbender, Purge, Schism, Solace reduced, Atonement reduced, Body and Soul no longer has that cooldown, but remember you have that we have that change up here. Power Shield grants Weaken Soul, so it's effectively making it from 6 to 7.5 or similar. So a lot of disc nerfs here coming in from the damage. It was needed though, right? It was needed. We knew this was coming, so that's okay. Like I said, slight damage nerfs seem fine. Hopefully they're compensated in other areas in return. Evangelism cooldown reduce increase in 90 seconds. Powered Shield increase mana cost. Rapture allows you to ignore Weakened Soul, which is effectively the same thing since Weakened Soul didn't exist in the first place. So huge disc nerfs. We'll have to look at the PvP changes. Hopefully we get something in return for that. Holy Benediction proc rate decreased to 25 was 30. Binding healing reduced to 65 was 75. Focus Will rank 2 allows it to stack to 2 instead of just 1 Focus Will. Cool. Greater Fate now cancels when the priest takes hostile action. This is something when I read over it, I was like, what does this mean? Greater Fate supposed to immune CC or immune damage, but now it's canceled when the priest takes damage? Weird. So I don't know exactly how it's going to interact. Maybe Greater Fate will just be a grounding totem, kind of. Like, you Greater Fate it would immune a polymorph or a clone or a fear, but if they just ice lance it off and poly you'll get polyed anyway. I think that might be how it works. I'm not exactly sure. Healing increased. Holy Word Salvation initial healing reduced. Renew healing increased. Trail of Light now affects heal as well as flash heal, replicating 35% of the initial cast was 40. So it affects another heal, but it was a slight nerf, so that's actually a slight buff overall. So Holy, a lot of buffs, Disc a lot of nerfs, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the spec to play. Still seems like Disc might be the way to go, but we'll have to see when the patch comes out. Maybe Holy will be good in the double caster comps like I was suggesting, and Disc still in that CC burst style of composition. And then Shadow, guys, this... Okay, I said I was excited for that Mage change. This might be my actual, like, I'm so excited for a lot of these changes. I actually have skimmed these already as well, just because I couldn't help myself. But Shadow Priest, guys, whew, looking spicy. All right, Shadow Priest now have Focused Will, which means they're going to be a bit tankier. However, Edge of Insanity is being nerfed. Spoiler alert, I think we'll get there at some point, but Edge of Insanity is getting nerfed from 10% to 5%, making it so you just don't take it. So Focused Will is going to help us becoming a little more tanky as a Shadow Priest. All damage reduced by 5%. So, when I first read that, I read that as all damage taken reduced by 5%. So, like, they're tankier, but they're just reducing all damage you do. It seems like all damage reduced. The wording of that's just a little vague, but yeah, all damage reduced by 5%. So that's actually a damage nerf. Okay, so I actually read that wrong the first time. Dispersion damage reduction increases 75 to 60. Great change. And now increases movement speed. Great change. I think disperse baseline is a little weak. 60%. It's like a shield wall on a 2-minute cooldown. Like what? Intangibility replaces mania. Dispersion heals you for 50% of your maximum health. Over its duration has 30-second reduced cooldown. That might be really, really, really good in some compositions where you're just rotating through defensives. If just the reduced cooldown in itself, but then the heal making it an even stronger defensive cooldown, I think this could be really, really, really good in those defensive comps where you're rotating through defensives like Shadow Priest Moonkin Arsham or Double Shadow Priest Arsham, something like that. Hallucinations is now a passive ability for all Shadow Priest. Legacy of Void damage increase. Mind Bomb increase to 6 seconds. Mind Seer increase by 20%. Shadow Word or Powered Shield no longer has a cooldown. Psychic Scream damage break threshold increase, so it's not going to break as easy. Shadow Form no longer provides the 10% physical damage reduction, so hopefully Focus will be enough to compensate for that. Surrender to Madness, change there. We don't use that in Arena anyway. Void Form now increases spell damage by 20%, was 10%. So they're making it so you want to go into Void Form more often, because currently you never go into Void Form, so I love that. And Insanity Drain reduced, so they're just buffing the crap out of Void Form. Love it. Void Bolt, Insanity Generation increase. Boom, another buff essentially to Void Form. And Void Torrent damage increased by 20. Now generates 25 Insanity over its duration and no longer requires Void Form. So you could Void Torrent anytime, means it might be a good pick, whereas right now we don't pick it at all. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Void Torrent might be the next new way to burst as a Shadow Priest. A lot of very, very, very interesting changes, buffs, nerfs all around. But essentially, what I'm seeing here is they want to make it so you actually go into Void Form. You actually can use that ability at burst with Void Bolt, Void Torrent, Void Form, and passive tankier. Actually, I'm gonna reread this one. Shadow Form no longer provides 10% physical damage reduction. I actually like this. The reason I like this change is because normally when you go into Void Form, it sucks. It's a trade-off. When you go into Void Form, you lose Shadow Form. If you lose Shadow Form, you lose the 10% reduction. So a lot of the times, if you wanted to survive, you wouldn't even go into Void Form because you're like, I can't afford to take more damage in Void Form, so I'm just not going to do it. Whereas now, it doesn't feel negative to go into Void Form. It's just positive. It's just more damage. So since they're taking away that Shadow Form damage reduction, adding in that Focus Will, and then making Void Form so it actually does more spell damage, you just want to go into Void Form now. So thumbs up on that, Blizzard. Like these changes a lot for Shadow. I'm really, really excited for them. Now quickly here on Rogues. A bunch of Azurite changes. This video is going a lot longer than I thought it would, but we'll quickly read the Rogue changes as well. For Rose Master X fans out there, or any Rogue players out there, I guess. Blade in the Shadows now reduces the cost of Shadow Strike by 2 energy as a stacking bonus. Damage reduced by 40%. That seems okay. It's so hard for me to really dictate what's going to be good and bad for Rogue. So I think I'm just going to mainly read through these changes, and then we'll kind of leave it up in the air for those Rogue experts to figure out. Then Rose Master will do his best to keep in touch with it and let you guys know what's going on. But Echoing Blades replaces Fan of Blades. Fan of Knives damage increased by 321. Keep your wits about you. Each time an attack, Blade Flurries increases the chance for Sinister Strike to strike again by 2%. Still seems pretty meh. New, Lying in the Wait. While no enemy within 12 yards heal, while enemy within 12 yards gain speed. Still, I don't know about that. Bunch of changes so far in these traits. Nothing Personal replaces Poison Wire. Vendetta poisons the target, dealing 11,000 damage over 20 seconds and granting you energy, 40 energy over 20 seconds. Still seems like not that much damage, not that much energy over 20 seconds, because 20 seconds is such a long time, but maybe that'll actually add up just with your burst with Vendetta, so we'll have to actually see on that. Perforate now reduces the cooldown of Shadow Blades by 0.5 seconds when backstabbing an enemy from behind. That actually seems kind of good to get the blades back, depending on how much you're actually backstabbing. Replicating Shadows replaces Sharpened Blades. Each combo point spent has a 2% chance to cause your Nightblade to deal 5,843 exact shadow damage and spread to a nearby enemy. I feel like that's not the play either. For most comps, maybe some spread pressure comes, but for most comps, probably not. First Dance redesign. Ooh, this might be interesting. Activating Shadow Dance now grants you combo points and increases your haste. How many combo points and how much haste? That's really the question there, right? If it's 5 combo points, cool. We can do things like Shadow Dance Kidney, go for huge burst windows. That might be amazing. But if it's 1 combo point, I don't think that does much at all. I don't know. How much haste, how much combo points? That's my question there. But if it's a lot, First Dance could be really, really, really good. Shuriken combo baseline removed, and Shuriken storm damage increased by 35%. Slight change there for that AoE there for that sub rogue. So that's the rogue changes. Now let's quickly get into the PvP changes for the rest of this video. Not a ton of changes here. I'm not going to go over all the classes once again, just the classes that we kind of cover here on this channel. Eventually, I'll have all the links down below if you guys want to check it out, though. The reward bonuses from War Mode now scale above 10% when a faction is outnumbered, up to a maximum of 30% additional quests and rewards and experience. Okay, I don't care too much about War Mode. I personally just pretty much spam Q Arena, RBGs, 2s, 3s, RBGs. Sometimes I'll do War Mode stuff for fun, but it's not a huge deal for me specifically as a player, but I know a lot of people have been asking for a system like this to be implemented, so cool. In War Mode, an outnumbered faction now has access to a weekly quest. It's like 25 players. Once again, they're trying to balance things out a little bit more. I actually like that they're doing this. Once again, I don't personally care that much, but it'll work. And it rewards a 370 Warfront gear and 1,000 AP, so that we're actually trying to make it worth it for that weekly quest, so that more and more and more people are actually doing that, getting out there in world PvP. So cool. War Mode can now be disabled in any rested area, but it can only be enabled in Stormwind or Orgrimmar. Interesting. Okay. I don't know what they're trying to do here. Maybe make it so players don't get griefed quite as hard. If they can't really get away to Stormwind, they can just turn it off so they don't have to run all the way back so they can just get a quest done. Maybe something like that. I didn't mind it the way it was, but I'm a mage so I can port to Stormwind, so maybe that's why I port to Orgrimmar. Maybe this is good for non-mage players, but I didn't care in the first place. But anyway, moving on. The Honor System Reward Vendor has been consolidated. Very vague, not exactly sure what they mean there. Probably just one vendor has more things than just instead of spreading vendors out, whatever. Spoils of War to assist characters beginning their adventures in PvP arenas. RBGs now reward 50% conquest for the first 8 weeks. It's a catch-up system in place. I like it. Cool. We got the quicker gearing for new characters that haven't really geared, or new characters, so cool. I like that. Strong boxes reward for unrated PvP have been improved. Nice. Rated arenas and rated battlegrounds now grant an additional 50% conquest. Also, now this is more of the catch-up mechanic. The Spoils of War is kind of also so cool. So we have like 2 catch-up mechanics. These grant an additional 50% conquest for all conquest rewards prior. So you're just getting it quicker and getting it quicker. So this is actually great. This is actually great. So get characters geared up a lot quicker. Honor Pet rewards have been consolidated as well to new vendors. So a bunch of little PvP changes here. War Mode, catch-up systems, bunch of okay stuff. Nothing crazy, groundbreaking, but I'm happy to see some of these changes come into play. We're going to skip the Alterac Valley. We're going to skip the Death Knights. Druids, monks, pallies, alright. Priests, we want this. Discipline priest, mana regen reduced by 15% when engaged in combat. Was 20, so it's actually a slight buff, 5% buff there. So cool, disc goes really, really fast. I'm happy about that. Trinity now causes Smite, Penance, Shadow Fiend, Crit to be increased by 25 when you have Atonement of 3 more allies. Nice Trinity buff there. Shadow Man healing increase in PvP. Let's go! I love it. I'm so happy about this. I feel like the damage on Priest was too high, and the throughput was too low, and the mana regen was too low. They're increasing mana regen, making the throughput of Shadow Man even higher, and reducing the damage. All good things for Disc. Although, overall, they might be generally nerfed because the focus will change as well. So this might overall be weaker, but it might be in a better spot moving forward as far as class design, if that makes sense. Holy. Healing increased. There's a spell called Heal. So healing increased by 50% in PvP. That's a huge buff. Maybe that's what they need to actually be able to heal through some like comps like Jungle or RMP where you just normally couldn't heal through it at all. Maybe that'll help them out. New PvP talent, Concentration, Bless the Ground, and 8-yard radius cause allies who stand in it to be immune to silence and interrupt. Ooh. I'm just thinking like Fire Mage, Destro Lock, Holy Priest. You throw down the Holy Word concentration. The Holy Priest is casting Greater Heal, which we'll get to in a second. The Destro Warlock's casting Chaos Bolt. The Fire Mage is casting Greater Pyroblast, and you can't kick any of them. That sounds awesome. We'll have to see on that talent. And then another new PvP talent, Greater Heal. Just like Greater Pyroblast, from the healing point of view of things, heals a target for 65% of their maximum health. That's like a big heal. 65% of their maximum health. That's a huge heal. If you don't kick this, I think it's a longer cast time like Greater Pyro. If you don't kick this, like, effectively, they're just going to be able to top their team in like 1 or 2 heals like constantly. And if they just start spamming the Greater Heals before their team even takes damage, it's just going to be a lot of HPS you're not really going to be able to deal with. So that's also a really cool change. I'm excited for Holy Priest, guys. I'm excited for Holy Priest. Shadow. Edge of Insanity is the nerf that we talked about earlier in the video. 10% to 5%. I don't mind it. Once again, I don't like this talent being good because then it makes it so you never leave normal Shadow form. Makes it so you just go Void form never. So the nerf of this ability actually promotes more Void form usage, and I'm a fan of that. Shadow, Mend, Healing increased by 25% for Shadow Priest as well. I'll take it. Rogue, Deadly Brew removed. That's what applied Crippling automatically, I believe. And Shiv now costs 35 energy. Now applies Deadly, Wound, and Crippling. So they got rid of the auto-apply Crippling and then added in Shiv. I guess I like this. And Shiv looks like it's just for Assassination. It doesn't look like it's for Sub and the other spec Outlaw as well. A lot of people are seeing it in the patch notes. They're like, wait a minute. Shiv is on Sub as well, on the Sub sheet as well, but I don't think it's actually added. And that's it. No major changes for PvP. Lots of different changes here, guys. I think there's going to be even more changes that haven't really been documented, like Cyclones for Ferals, like the Blaster Master nerfs and everything like that. So in the upcoming videos here on this channel, we're actually going to go through a lot more of the changes. What's good, what's bad, what compositions I'm playing now with all of these changes. Is Holy actually going to be better? Is this going to be better? These are all the questions that I still have. You can leave them down below in the comments. Ask people, you know, what might be good, what might be bad, and we can theory craft. And in the next coming days and weeks, I'm going to be making a ton of videos outlining exactly what I'm playing, what specs I'm playing, what talents I'm taking, what new Azurite traits I'm taking, and all of those type of things. So stay tuned. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. This video went a lot longer, 27-minute video. Holy moly, let's get a thumbs up for that. Thumb this video down if you didn't like it. Talk to me down below in the comments about all these changes, good, bad, incredible, terrible. Let me know down below. And there's so much theory crafting to be done with all of these new traits and abilities. Like I said, I'll have the patch linked down below as well if you guys want to check out the changes for your specific class. But yeah, keep it locked in here on the channel. Going to be letting you guys know what's going to be good and bad in the upcoming days and weeks. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.